Welcome back, folks, to Resident Evil here on the heavybass channel. Last time, we finally arrived at the labs for Leon B, and we got separated from Ada, who was basically clawed up and maimed and all that stuff. Basically means that now we've been split off from Ada. That means the last bit of the game basically belongs to us once more. In this episode, though, we are going to we're going to do a few things, and that of course means that we're going to have a smoother time for the final bit. And we're going to need to get some items together, more or less. We haven't got much healing items, which is true, but we need to combine what we do have so that when we do meet up a red herb, we can combine them into 4 heals, and then, you know, basically that's how things go, right? Anyway, we have a puzzle to solve, but this is a puzzle that is necessary. It's a box puzzle, but that's mostly due to the fact that we need to use this box puzzle, as it were, to get somewhere. So you need to use this. We need to make an entryway to that far corridor that's in the north section. So what you need to do is we need to get this crate down, which is really important. Like so. Get the crate on here so that we can literally get this room, which we do. This bit of leeway for should you do so. Follow the instructions on the screen. We need to get that crate onto that top round of the corridor. Then we can actually get around to the other side, which is true. We can just do that. Now you got to get that crate over there has to follow that corridor. Follow what I'm doing, because when we're doing this, and might I add, we do need to do this. We need to use the lift as well as a sort of like a gap. We can either squeeze down to the bottom, and then we can squeeze this. Move this crate right to the very top of that corridor there. Trust me on this one. We can. It pretty much requires you later on to do this, but I say we do that shit now. Saves us tons and tons of time, and it does so. Also, the one bad news is that there was a pamphlet in that one describing P gas, which is anti-BOW stuff, and we used it up. We used it up in Claire A to effectively get rid of the super lickers. And the good and bad news is the super lickers are a lot stronger than they are here. But they still take 2 shotgun rounds with the custom, and we have enough ammunition now to take care of the rest of the game, might I add as well. Here you'll find the switch to the elevator, which gives us power. Now that we have the power, we can actually go ahead and you go back to that lift and then use it to get into the labs proper. Basically what we did was that this is basically the power section of the base, which was used in the B section. The A section was the lab only. In Resident Evil 0 was basically the factory that basically produced the power and the water function and everything else. There was some weird crazy shit in that bit for Resident Evil 0, so lo and behold, it just gets weird. More or less, it's just exactly what you need, really. Anyway, so as we are done here. Let's head back towards the lift so we can actually go ahead and into the base. Which is true, because we are due to enter the base for the longest while. So let's go ahead and go straight, push the button, head down. The screen goes with it, which kind of makes things cool. And when we get out of here, ladies and gents, we've arrived at the very familiar spot. This was one of the most perplexing bits of the whole Resident Evil freaking fandom. Is that from that lift, particularly that lift there, Enrico showed it in Resident Evil 0. And considering where he was in bloody freaking Resident Evil, this was set before Resident Evil 1, how in the ever-loving shit did he get from the forest to this bloody place, and then from this place all the way to the damn mansion? So, that door's for the master key. Basically, it is essentially that you have to come back here at a very late point of the whole thing. Basically, now we got to repeat everything that we did for the A side. In other words, we haven't done this yet. Because, oh boy, and I do mean, oh boy. Alright, I'll sort that out later. Anyway, we gotta power up the, so, what we did earlier was that we powered up the lift. Now we gotta do the same thing as we did in the A side, and that's power the labs up. Luckily for us, everything is still the same as it was for, yeah, more or less everything else is still the same, so that's good enough. Super didn't do a fuse case, which is true, we do have the fuse case. Just like I mentioned before in the A path, machines operate fantastically in cold weather. So, as you can see here, they operate in fantastic stuff. But anyway, to keep things cold and more or less the same, it just, everything it's frozen to a complete, stop. It just goes to there. Right, we have the main fuse. So we have the thing that powers up the factory. That's the easy part of the whole thing. There we go. Just doing something there. Anyway, moving on. We gotta go back. We gotta go back to the we gotta go back to the main part of the laboratory of the shaft and use the main fuse to power up the lab again. Yeah, as it were. So now we now got the battery back to normal. So we got to do that. Anyway, first thing we do is we head to the west and power up the factory from there, but then power things up in the east. Again, there's a few disadvantages for playing. There's a couple of disadvantages for playing for, say, Leon's story as it was playing for Claire. As you may have noticed, there are IVs in this place, but there's a flaw in this plan, is that Leon does not have an instant method of dealing with the IVs, which are humanoid bloody plant 42s, which really suck. So Leon does get a flamethrower in this game, and it's only useful for that bit. That's to take care of it. So we gotta go back the way we came. We gotta go through here. The flamethrower is actually here in this room. Fortunately, now that we're dealing with a lot of naked zombies as well. Naked zombies. But we do have one advantage this time. There's a card key here. We can use the guest. Also, the card key is here. Very handy. And it doesn't have to involve a net either. It doesn't involve prying it off a net's corpse, which we'll be seeing later on. That's the anti-BOW gas complete. We can actually go through this now. Which is true. We can actually go ahead and... Nothing here, nothing there. Let's just go through that. Let's just go through here. And we can effectively head straight to there. We get one flaw of a problem. There are liquors. Really don't like super liquors. I really hate super liquors. I fucking hate super liquors. Bastards. Or one of the bigger disappointments that in Resident Evil 2 that was never utilized was that the fact there was a plant takes over the whole facility, right? One of my biggest complaints was that why was there never a plant boss? I think it would have been a lot more curious, as it were. I'm not going to pick up that ink ribbon because I don't think it's pretty good. I think I need heal as well, which really fucking helps. So there's something in that room I forgot to pick up. Right here, flamethrower. Correct. There's a flamethrower in this game, which is true, but it only has a certain percentage, and there's no refill, and it's a Leon exclusive item, and it's used necessary to take care of the ivies. A certain amount of flame, per se. There they are. So, unleash them in! But the problem was, though, yeah, you can definitely see why I'm not a big fan of this item. You need to hit them in a concentrated burst, and it only takes about 20% each time. You got more bloody ivies dealing up with the next bit, and then there's more coming up in the last part. So, it's not my favourite item. Plus, if you use the... I'm just surprised. I'm surprised as anyone else, really, at this point. So we need to use up that... use that up. Let's go ahead and head down and use the shotgun, but we do still need to use that flamethrower, because there's still a character that we need to use it on. See, that plant is a giant missed opportunity, because honestly, it would have been interesting to find a plant. Sort of like a hybrid, a sequel to Plant 42. Seriously, Super Lickers do not learn. Especially Ultra Lickers. I'm not looking forward to facing Lickers, honestly, in the new one. Especially the new ones. Just gotta make sure that these guys stay where the fuck they are. And we're going to use up that last bit of healing. Which is why we got some more healing here. Very useful. Very handy. There we go. Should do it. At least we know where we are. Honestly, that's a big bonus here, ladies and gentlemen. There we go. Alright, I believe that's... When we now reach the umbrella, this room, which is the hub for the main part of this one, which leads to the important bits of the game, I believe we'll pretty much wrap things up. Actually, we can wrap things up for this episode, because we've got so many things done. We can now get a map of the labs. We can actually go ahead. We can actually get to the final bits of the game. We can finally get some customizational tools, as it were, because we don't need the flamethrower for now, because we can actually go ahead and save some. But more importantly, we got the lab key. Very handy. Yes, very handy. Anyway, that's the end for Resident Evil for now. So, until our next meeting, ladies and gentlemen, and trust me on this one, there'll be a lot of next meetings, as it were. We have to deal with trying to find. We still haven't found Ada. There's a few places we haven't checked left, and more. So there's a few secrets left to discover in this place, and then we can wrap things up. See you all next time. Bye for now.